Thank you so much. Okay, I have a lot of questions, but I guess the thing that I want to know the most is the technical about thoughts, because you said we have control over our thoughts, and
Call it attention or focus. It might make it easier.
focus on my thoughts.
So it's focus and feel, focus and feel, focus and feel, focus and feel.
Focus and feel. Okay. So I'm just wondering, like, I've had like certain situations where there was a situation going on, and I wanted something totally different, right? And I started thinking about the different that I wanted to create, you know?
But this is the distinction that is a sort of new emphasis in the conversations we're having these days, because the situation created what you want, and now you want to tune into it to receive it. Because if you think too hard about what you want from this place of disconnection, then you don't start moving toward what you want. Does that make sense? Esther, before the chime, was sitting behind the curtain waiting to hear it, and she has a notepad that she basks with before the gatherings, and since she's been segment intending, she wrote segment Los Angeles number 3. That's what the segment is. And then she wrote as her segment intentions, quiet my mind and reach Abraham and follow the impulse. Isn't that interesting? That's the formula for all moments in time. Tune in and follow the impulse. The impulse about where to point, the impulse about what to say. In other words, she's not trying to figure it out. She didn't sit back there and think, what are we going to talk about in segment 3? She didn't even think, how would I like it to go? She didn't even think, I want this to be way more fun, or I want there to be more girls in the chair. You're thinking that, but she wasn't. Her intention was to quiet her mind and follow the impulse, you see. But she understands that all of the work's been done, that all of her intentions are in the vortex and that all of yours are. She knows that this gathering has been accomplished, and now it's just a matter of all of us collectively receiving it. You see what we're getting at?
Mm-hmm.
So
if I'm thinking about what it is that I desire,
before you go further, so here's the distinction. Here's the way we would follow this process of thinking if we were standing in your physical shoes. So step 1 just happens, and you launch rockets. And when you get into the receiving mode, you receive impulses. And so the impulse is coming, the impulse is coming, the impulse is coming. Now this is the distinction that you're reaching for, and it's the distinction that we really want you all to understand, because you are deliberate creators. So start with the premise, what influence am I under? Am I under the influence of my total self, or am I under the influence of someone else or some other influence? Start there. What influence am I under? So now, under the influence of source, as the impulse comes and you follow it out, it happens in one way. If you're under the influence of something else and you follow it out, and as you are more and more aware of what influence you're under, then things get better and better for you. So you're getting really good at knowing that. It's like somebody picked a fight with you and you fought back. Well, it's clear what influence you're under. You picked a fight, they fought back. It's clear what influence you're under. You saw something and felt negative about it. It's clear what influence you're under. You felt the impulse to go somewhere and it felt good, and you rendezvoused with someone. You know what influence you're under. So let's just say, for sake of stability, that you have come to the place where you're pretty sure what influence you're under. So now, if you know you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you're beginning to receive some impulses, and then you want to ponder that or think about that, that is the most pleasurable way of co-creating that could exist in all of the world. It's like, you know, when you collaborate with someone and you're on the same wavelength and they say this and you say this, you have that in your social settings where you know you're really clicking, really clicking, really clicking, and it just gets more fun and more wonderful and more insightful. So when you know you're under that influence, then as thoughts occur to you, speak them. And even if you want to, reach for more thoughts, because that's what collaboration is. But if you have gotten really good at ascertaining whether you're under the influence of source or something else, and you know it's something else, then that's not the time to think, because it will just get bigger and badder. So we understand, in the beginning we called this the science of deliberate creation, and you all did what you human beings do. You made it a lot of work. You said cancel, try to suck back your thoughts before law of attraction could get hold of them. You thought too much before you were sure where you were. It's like picking up the stick and trying to fix it, and you're on this end of it. You just want to be clear about where you are before you decide to think. It's like when you're in your car and you have an open road and you want to push on the gas and go really fast. You drive according to the conditions, yes? Well, we want you to think according to the conditions. If you know you're in a bad mood, thinking doesn't help. You just stew and writhe in your juices and make it worse. And it's not all for nothing, because you do contribute to your vortex and you do ask for more things. But really, you've created a vortex that would keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. You really don't need more contrasting data. It's time for you to cash in your vibrational chips, we think, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
So did we get to the heart of what you're reaching for? I don't know whether I should follow this thought out or not. How did the first thought feel? Well, it felt worrisome to me, and that's why I'm trying to work the bugs out of it. Don't do it. Well, how did it feel? Well, it felt great. I just feel really good. Then follow it. Follow it and contribute to it. Just for fun, because it's always easier to watch things that are happening outside of you than to be aware of what's happening internally. But just for a little while, watch your dinner conversations or your friendship conversations just for a little while, and watch the way so many scenarios go. Someone will say something like, my flight was delayed, and then someone else will talk about that, and before you know it, you're talking about lost baggage and airplanes crashing. It can get really intense. And so the point that we're making is that most humans, and this is the power of your important thought, most humans follow the scenario given the subject matter. Luggage makes me think of airplanes, and airplanes makes me think of flight attendant, and flight attendant makes me remember that horrible one. And then before you know it, you've got a table full of people that are talking about relevant things, but nobody's asked the question, am I in vibrational alignment with my inner being while I'm having this conversation? But if you've decided that you're reaching for something that's uplifting, or something that's fun, or something that's life-giving, or something that's promoting, or something that is helpful, if your reason for focusing is understood by you and you're looking for the vibrational accuracy of it, not the subject matter. And that's why this pile of sticks evolved today. As we said, on one end of the stick is money. Now, open a conversation about money with a bunch of people around the table and see where it goes. It's going to be an exercise in not helping anybody, usually. But on the other end of that stick is freedom and joy, and freedom leads to travel, and travel leads to expansion, and expansion leads to creativity and thrilling. Which end of the stick is going to open the most people at the table to what will really serve them? And now bring it back to you. What end of the stick is going to open me up to what will really serve me? Am I really just trying to analyze details? You can't get to the bottom of anything. There's no bottom. Whether it's an unwanted thing or a wanted thing, there's no ending to it. It will continue to evolve. And your only thing that you want to be aware of is this thing that I'm perpetuating by my thought, focus, attention to it. Is it something that is pleasurable while I focus or not? That's all you need to think about.
Thank you. And does it have to be realistic? Because I just give you an example. I just want to know if I'm doing it.
Wait. Because what you mean by realistic is something that has already happened. And you're creating all kinds of things that have never happened before. People will say, you need to be more realistic. And we say, you didn't come to face realism. You came to create reality. There are a lot of things that are real that you don't want to keep active in your vibration. And we don't want you to get the wrong idea here. We're not asking you to focus on pipe dreams, pipe dream meaning irrational, illogical dreams, these dreams are real. You created them. Your vortex is real. This is realism. That's why we wrote a book and gave it the name The Vortex. It's real. This is the realism that feels good when you focus upon it, you see. And so it doesn't matter if you're focusing in your vortex or if you're focusing in your past or if you're focusing in your present. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is, are you in alignment with the way your inner being sees it? And if you remember something tragic from your past, your inner being isn't seeing it as tragic. Your inner being knows the value of it and is standing amidst all the stuff that is in the vortex that came out of that. So your inner being is not focused upon the hard toil and trouble that you went through as you created it. Your inner being is focused upon the seed that you planted and what's coming as a result of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, really good. Really good.